Hello. Hello. Alright, hello everyone. So we have a couple of issues going on right now. And I want to show you what's going on radar. We have a couple of tornado warnings right now. That's going on in central and eastern Minnesota. So we pan the radar here. This tornado warning, there was a tornado warning between 3:30 and 4 o'clock that was allowed to expire. There was reports of a funnel cloud. So wanted to jump on the air here on YouTube to let everyone know what's going on, just in case people decide to turn on this live stream and start watching. There's a couple of tornado warnings going on in central and eastern Minnesota. There's a moderate risk of severe weather today. Right here. For Minnesota, parts of South Dakota, we'll keep an eye on that, into Wisconsin. So here's the tornado risk. And there's a pretty good tornado outbreak that looks like going to be expected. So if you're anywhere in central Minnesota into western Wisconsin, definitely be on the lookout for these storms, because you know these storms could really fire up fast and become tornadic at any time. So people need to keep an eye out on the weather this afternoon if you're anywhere in that direction. Maybe if you have family that lives in these areas, I want to keep them updated. So here we go, tornado warning. This one goes until 4:30, and it's for radar indicated rotation as of right now. But there was weather spotters that reported a funnel cloud a little earlier. It was probably about a half an hour ago. So if you're in Piers right now, Genola, you should have already been taking cover. If you're in Lastrup, probably not in the rotation area. I would say the rotation area is kind of right in that notch right there, because you kind of have the moisture feeding into the storm right there, and then the cold air wrapping around the storm like this, and you kind of get the twisting of the winds, and right in there is kind of where I'm focused at, because that's kind of where a tornado would be if there is one. There hasn't been any reports of any touchdowns. Again, there was just a funnel cloud being reported on this storm. Hold on a second, give me a minute. There hasn't been any reports. Okay, so there's a pretty good hail core too on this storm. I want to show this just to show the areas of hail. And, there's a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm for southeastern Morrison County, and this is in effect as well until 4:30. And this is for golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So if you're in these areas as well, kind of takes it up to Harding. Although Harding is kind of not, it's not really in the hail core. I'd say if you're in Harding, you're a little bit north of the big hail core that's down here with the red and purple. So I think you're okay for right now. But if you're in Hillman, yeah, you need to look out because the hail core is going to be heading right to you, and for your last trip, probably getting some very large hail. And when you see the purple on radar like this, you know that there's hail. There's definitely some hail going on. In fact, I want to bring up this product, vertically integrated liquid. This is kind of it shows, this is not precipitation. So on radar, it shows the precip, the normal radar. This shows, the rain. But when we throw this product in, this is what we indicate hail as. So this is some very large hail. Again, golf ball. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's larger than that. Maybe a $50 sized hail. And then the last strip area over to Hillman. So yeah, if you're in any of those areas, definitely be taking cover because it is a very nasty storm that's been going on for a while now. And yeah, look at that classic hook right there. Right in there, you can see that classic hook with the notch. And I want to pull up this product too. This is velocity data from the radar. And yeah, there's some basically what you do is, when you're looking at this product, you look at the greens and the reds, kind of mixing up together. So you see the greens right here, and then you get the reds right in there. So when you have that clash right there, that right in there is where we look for the tornado. And right now on the velocity data, it doesn't look extremely strong at this point. It's not, it doesn't mean that there's not a tornado. It's just, it's not exactly perfect on the velocity signatures. But I also want to throw this in here. This is echo tops. This is how high these clouds are. If they're above 40,000 feet, you can get tornadoes. And right now we're pushing 50,000, almost 60,000 feet in the air. So yeah, there's plenty of depth of these clouds to produce a tornado. So it's a nasty storm. And this is not the only storm either. We look over to the region here. You got central and eastern Minnesota, and these storms are moving very fast. They're moving about 40 to 45 miles an hour. To the east, and if you notice here, there's another tornado warning going on. This was issued right at a little bit before 4 o'clock, and this is also going until 4:30. This is for southern Kennebec County in eastern Minnesota. This one has radar indicated rotation, so let's try to look at the velocity and see if we can see anything. Yeah, there's a little bit going on right in there. It's not completely organized. It's not impressing me by any means. That can obviously change, but you look for the brighter greens, brighter reds, kind of mixing together. And it's not incredibly tight at this point, but obviously we'll keep an eye on it. I do want to throw this product in. This is called correlation coefficient. This is using the dual polarization technology, and this shows basically if the radar if the Doppler is picking up any debris from a tornado, and there's nothing really there right now. But we'll keep looking at this, seeing if maybe something develops. Yeah, the rotation isn't too. It's actually a little bit more tight than the other storm. It's a little more organized, and this is more of a line segment, as you can see right there. Kind of from Sandstone down to Princeton. There's just more of a line segment. This one is just a supercell. It's all by itself. So I kind of want to, not that this storm is any worse or any better. I do want to focus more attention on this supercell, because supercells by itself tend to be the most dangerous. These are more kind of a wind line, so when you're looking for tornadoes, you're kind of more looking for the supercell instead of kind of a line segment, because usually the supercells can develop, the bigger tornadoes and longer lasting as well. But either way, there's 2 tornado warnings going on right now. So let's go back to this one. So if you're in Mora right now, you need to be in the basement right now, because if there's a tornado, it's going to be right on top of you, or maybe just a hair north of you. But it's kind of what we're looking at here. And Quamba, if you're in that town, if you're in Graston right now, I would definitely be seeking shelter. Okay, it's probably going to be in your area within the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's moving fairly fast here, so it's going to be coming up quick on you if you're in those couple of those communities. This storm is moving southeast at 40 miles an hour, and this storm is moving faster. Well, it was going 45, it's now moving at 40, so it's slowing down a little bit, which is a little bit concerning, because if storms start to slow down, it means that it's gaining strength, and it's more typical for tornadoes to form when it's moving slower than when it's moving faster. When storms are moving fast, they're typically damaging wind lines. And another thing too that I want to show. All right, so right here, hold on a second. Right here, this is a hail tracker. This is what is being picked up on radar. Radar indicated hail. 3 inches in diameter is what the radar is picking up on. And this is a little off. It should be right in here, because that's where the hail core is right now. It's just a little west of Quamba at this point. So yeah, 3-inch hail is being picked up by radar. It doesn't mean that that's what's going on, but that is just what is showing on the radar. So that's pretty impressive hail being picked up on the radar. And it looks like the tornado warning has been updated a little bit. Still radar indicated rotation with this storm. No confirmed tornadoes, as you can see here on the side of the screen. Still goes for this warning goes for another 12 minutes. So yeah, please take cover if you're in any part of this area. Graston, over to Quamba, Mora, still be in the basement, because the storm is still going through your area. And I would even throw in Braham if you're in that area. I would be taking cover as well. Just because you're not in the tornado warning doesn't mean you're not going to get it. You're pretty close to the tornado warning, so I would still be taking cover if you're in that area. Yeah, this storm is moving fast. Every sweep of the radar, it's moving pretty fast. So I would say if you're in Henriette now, that's kind of an area now where I would start paying more attention to. If you're in that town, if you're in the town of Henriette, I would start, getting your plan sorted out. If you have an action plan for in case of a tornado, I would start going with that plan, because it's moving on you pretty fast. Probably going to be in your area with the next 5 to 10 minutes, so I would be taking cover right now. I would be starting to head into your basement or your shelter. So that's that storm. I also want to throw this in. You see this big yellow box that now extends into Wyoming. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. And this goes effect until 5. And the reason why it's such a big warning is because it's not only is it moving so really fast, so they got to extend it out farther, but it's also because of 80-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball-sized hail. So this is not only is it a damaging wind line now, but it's also, it could possibly have a tornado in it. So yeah, that's an issue. And I want to, yeah, right in there, right near the Mora area. That's a pretty good rotation being picked up on radar. That's pretty impressive now. You see where the green mixing with the reds. It's kind of right in that area. Let's throw this back on there. And this is a rotation signature on radar. Basically, kind of gives you an idea of some rotation associated with the storm. And there's really no surprise to why these storms are getting going, because I mean, if you go outside in this area, it is hot and very, very muggy. I mean, it's almost oppressive humidity. Dew points in the 70s. I'm sure there's a few 80s going on. So yeah, that is extremely humid. And yeah, I mean, it's enough to get storms to fire up with tornadoes. So, and this area is under a tornado watch. I want to bring up a new product. This is a different radar view. All right, so here is the tornado watch for central Minnesota into Wisconsin. Let's see, let's back out here. I just kind of wanted to show this, so to show you the tornado watch where it's at here. So there it is. You know, anywhere from, you know, if you're in St. Cloud, if you're in the, you know, the Twin Cities, you know, up to Duluth, down into Wisconsin, Eau Claire, you know, if you're in any of these areas, this big broad area, yeah, definitely be paying attention to the weather, because, you know, storms can develop very quickly. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on the weather this evening. So yeah, back to these storms. It looks like this storm that was a supercell. I mean, it still is. It looks like it might be dying out a little bit. And yeah, that tornado warning has just been allowed to expire, and it actually expired earlier than 4:30. It was supposed to expire at 4:30, and they have lifted that tornado warning. So if you're in these areas, I would still be closely monitoring the weather right now, because you're probably still getting very heavy rainfall and, you know, maybe some strong wind gusts, and I would also say some hail. Radar indication of hail, it's not extremely high right now. So it looks like that storm is starting to weaken a little bit. We'll see if it picks up strength and kind of redevelops. So now kind of the main focus that I want to kind of shift gears to is this line in eastern Minnesota. This is a pretty wicked line of really nasty storms. Tornado, still radar indicated. There hasn't been any reports yet of a tornado, but I would assume pretty quickly this warning is going to get extended. There's a pretty good notch. I mean, if you can just draw an arrow right here, I mean, you could pretty much just draw out an arrow, and it would match up perfectly to where the moisture is feeding into the storm, and then where the cold air is backing around the storm. So yeah, kind of right in that area. And now, of course, it's shifted. So again, if you're in Henriette, please be taking cover right now. You're not in a tornado warning, but you're under severe thunderstorm warning, and the area, if there were to be a tornado, would be pretty close to you. So if you're in Henry, Minnesota, you need to be taking cover at this point, I would say. There's a pretty solid hail core going on right here. from Brook Park down to Columbia and over to Barron. I mean, again, when you get into those purple colors on radar, you know that there's some pretty nasty rotation, or some pretty hail going on. So, you know, there's a lot of storms going on, and I want to keep my eye on kind of these storms that are getting going here, back farther, you know, kind of back building. But again, the reason why we're on here, there's a tornado warning in a very dangerous situation for this afternoon and evening in Minnesota. There is a tornado outbreak possible, and we've already seen a couple of tornado warnings now. But at the moment, there's only one tornado warning, and it's right here, and it will be expiring in 4 minutes. We'll see if I'll stay on here. We'll see if they extend the warning, because if they do, we'll stay on here. And we might go off the air and come back on when the conditions warrant. But yeah, I really want to focus in on this area. Let's look at the velocity data again. You get the bright greens, bright reds coming to force a little bit, kind of right in this area. So yeah, if you're in Graston to Henriette, please be taking cover at this point. And you never know with these kind of situations. It could end up rain wrapped. So, you know, if there was a tornado, it could be rain wrapped, which means, you know, you're not going to be able to see it because it's covered by rain. So yeah, I want to keep an eye on this storm. And as you can see, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire early. 4:30 was when it was supposed to expire, and it has expired 3 minutes earlier, which means that there are no more tornado warnings at the present time. So we'll probably head off the air here. I want to go through these severe thunderstorm warnings though. So this one right here in eastern Minnesota into Wisconsin, and the counties, if you're in southwestern Pine County in east central Minnesota, and then in southwestern Burnett County in northwestern Wisconsin, this warning goes out for another 33 minutes until 5 o'clock. And this storm is picking up speed now. It's moving in an east-southeast direction at 50 miles per hour. So yeah, moving very fast. And it makes sense. I mean, this is a line with damaging winds possible and large hail. 80-mile-an-hour winds and golf ball-sized hail associated with this line. So definitely do not want to be outside. You don't want to be messing around. Get cover and, you know, make sure you have a safety plan in case of a tornado warning that comes out. So I also want to just mention here that in Wisconsin there's also a severe thunderstorm warning. See if we can put it out here. See if I can find the information for it. Okay, so I believe it's this one. It's moving east at 50 until 4:30 for 70-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. I think is this storm. Yeah, that's for that storm. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on things here. I would really I'm going to pay close attention to all these, but especially this storm right here. It's still showing a signature that could form a tornado, or at least some rotation. But at the moment, there's no tornado warnings at the present time. As we're looking through the echo tops here, 60,000 feet. Maybe even a little taller. I mean, when you get 60,000 feet in the air, you know that they're big storms. So, definitely you need to pay attention if you're in these areas. If you're any of these towns that are in this severe thunderstorm warning. I'll go through the counties here. If you're in southwestern Pine and southwestern Burnett counties, if you're anywhere in those areas, please be taking cover because this is a very nasty storm. And it's got a pretty rotation signature. There's no tornado warning on it at the present time, but that could change because this is a environment where things could change like that. There could be a tornado. So I want to wait here a couple minutes in case they come out with the tornado warning. So yeah, I want to stay on here. In Wisconsin, there's a new warning that is going to go out until 5 o'clock for 70-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. Moving east at 50, maybe in a slight southeast direction. So if you're in east central Washburn County and Sawyer County in northwestern Wisconsin, I would be, taking cover. So over into Minnesota, this line is starting to leave the area of Minnesota. So, if you're anywhere north of Minneapolis, definitely be paying attention to the weather. Because nasty storms are going on, have been going on now for a little while here, and but as of right now, no tornado warnings at the present time. I do want to mention down here, I thought maybe there was a little something brewing here, right in that storm. North of Minneapolis, kind of in this area. I want to keep an eye on that because it's showing some signs that it could start to rotate a little bit. I noticed on the velocity data, you see the again what I was saying about the bright reds and the greens, the bright greens, kind of right in there. It's a little suspect at this point. And then here's another kind of look at the velocity. So yeah, I would be paying attention if I was in that area. So if you're in Dalbo, Day, Princeton, I would be watching that storm at the present time. So we're a couple minutes past 4:30 at this point, Central Time, and again, there's a big broad area here of a tornado watch all across this area for this evening. As we start heading into the evening hours, the tornado watch goes into effect until 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So yeah, if you're anywhere in central Minnesota into Wisconsin, I would definitely be paying attention to the forecast and pay attention to the weather because things can change quickly. I want to do a loop here on the radar. So before I went on the air here with these storms, I saw that this tornado warning was going on, and that's when I knew that we had to go on the air. And it was pretty long-lived. I mean, it was a pretty nasty storm. It started up here and just kept progressing to the east and to the southeast. And as you can see on the loop, it has died out. It's sort of fizzled out and lost its energy. But as you can see, new storms have backbuilded behind that storm towards Randall. So yeah, definitely want to be showing that. And also down here towards Princeton, you can see right there, these storms have started to fire up. And the way it's looking, it's just going to continue to start building farther to the southwest. So we'll see how that goes. If that's the case, definitely need to be paying attention to these storms that fire up right here because they could produce tornadoes. You never know. And yeah, so at one point there was a supercell here going on. There was actually two supercells going on at the same time. that had tornadoes on it right there, and that's kind of when we were on the air and talking about the tornadoes. But as of right now, there are no tornado warnings in effect at this present time. Just severe thunderstorm warnings for damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour and golf ball sized hail. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break here, and we're probably gonna head off the air here. Although I would really pay attention to this storm, because it looks like there's some velocity coming in that it might start to rotate in this area. As you can see, the bright greens and the bright pinks, bright reds, bright greens here. I'm going to keep an eye on that, because if it keeps going like this, it's going to become tornadic. So I want to be paying attention to that. And then also on this storm, I want to be keeping an eye on this one too, because it's on the velocity data. It's showing a little bit of rotation. Not a lot, but we'll see. So at the present time, I'm going to step aside here for the present time. If there is a tornado warning that comes out, I will definitely be going back on the air here on YouTube, on live stream. So, as the conditions warrant, I'll be coming back on. So just please keep an eye on the weather. Watch your local TV. If you're in these areas, again, central Minnesota and western Wisconsin, if you're in those areas, please be watching TV, and keeping an eye, just keep in touch with updates of the weather, because we're in a moderate risk in this area, so definitely be paying attention. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I will see you later.